Hi and welcome to Bitrix24 Live. My name's Andy and I am the support manager here at Interface. So this session is going to be an hour long and I can answer any questions that you may have on Bitrix. So whether you're using the cloud version of Bitrix or the self-hosted, I can show you live on screen hopefully the answers to any questions that you've got. The questions that you do have, please put them in the chat box on YouTube, or you can email them to live@interface.com and I can answer those as we go along. So we're here every Thursday at 10 AM Eastern time. So if you do come up with any questions throughout the week, then I can answer them on the next session the following Thursday. So we do have some questions that have come in through the week, but first of all, just our contact details are on the screen. So as Interface, we're a gold partner of Bitrix, and we can demo the product to you on a one-to-one basis if you've got some specific requirements. We also offer premium support, so that's through our ticketing system and also via the telephone, so we have that support line. And we can also customize Bitrix to meet your requirements as well, whether that's integrations or the look and feel of Bitrix, then we can also do that. So please get in touch with us, whichever your local office is that's on the screen. So we'll start off by jumping into Bitrix and we'll cover some of the questions that have come in previously. So we'll first of all start on, we did cover it a little bit last week, but somebody had a bit of a different requirement. And if we go into the CRM here, and what the question was really was, can I create an event in the calendar on a particular lead or a deal using a business process? So I think last week we covered the ability to maybe create a project from a deal directly using the tool, the workflow tool on here. So this tool here in the top right hand corner, run workflow, last week we created a project from this location. Now what the question was is, can we create an event, an updater field within the lead itself? So let's show you that first of all. I'm on the cloud system here, so like I say, if you do have any questions, whether you're on the cloud or self-hosted, I can answer those today. But if you go to the CRM settings, and what we can do is, if we go to, first of all, I want to create a custom field. So you can create custom fields in Bitrix24 CRM by going to the CRM settings, clicking in custom fields, and you can see here we can add a custom field in any one of the different CRM components. So I'm going to add it in lead, so you can click on add field, give it a sort number, and we'll call this event date. And we don't need it to be required, or we don't need it to be multiple select, sorry. And then we're going to have just the date field here. So if we click on save, what that will do is it's created a custom field within our leads. So if I go back to leads just to show you, then we can see in here, let's just change this to customize a little bit more. And click on event date. So at the moment it's going to be empty, but the purpose of what we're going to do here is we're going to create a business process that's going to populate that and create a calendar event too. So if I now come out of here, click back into the CRM settings, click into automation and click into business processes, and we're going to add a template in the lead. So for those of you that weren't watching last week, to manually run a workflow in Bitrix, you just need to make sure you check auto run to off, and we'll call this create event. If we set the parameters of this particular pop-up form that's going to pop up, we'll call it event name, and we'll have a string field. We'll have event date, and we'll give it a date, and then we'll have a date field in here, so we should be able to select date, click on OK, and then we'll maybe have an event description. We'll call that a text field. If you click on OK, we've got 3 form fields that the user is going to fill in when they trigger this process. The first thing that we wanted to do was update the custom field that I've just created. So under the document processing side of things, if you click on modify element, so that is referring to the ability to modify a field within the CRM. So if I click on here, and we'll say update event date. And in here, we should be able to see the event date field that I created, which you can here, so it's event date. So you can see all the custom fields that you create. And what I want to do is I want to get the date from the field that I've just created, so event date. I can specify in here who I want to be able to as marked as who's populating this date. So I'll just put my user that I'm logged in as the moment. And then what we can do is create a calendar event as well. So if I click on calendar event here, I will create it just as an example on my own calendar. The event name is, we're going to have template parameters here. We're going to use the event name. We're going to populate it with the event description from the, again, the form that we're filling out. And the start date, we're going to use using the event date. So it's pretty simple. All we're doing there is using the fields that we're going to populate by triggering this process, and it's going to appear in my particular calendar. So click on save, and let's click on save here. So we've got that create event. Now if I go to the lead side of things, and if we go into, let's just go into this top one for example here. Currently the event date is empty. So if I click on the workflow tool, click on create event, and we'll say Bitrix24 live, and then we'll say next Thursday. I mean, you could put a time in there, which is probably, you can use the date and time field rather than just using the static date field. Give it a live on the 4. So we click on start. So these are the template parameters in the business process that I created. If I click on start, and that's as simple as that. So if I come out of here, click back into the field, what we should do is the custom field that I created, you can see has now been populated by the data that I put in that particular form. So the good thing about doing that is we can use the data from the form itself, from the field that we've just updated in custom reports. So we can see in here, and then if I go into my calendar, hopefully we have, here we go. So it's added it into my user calendar. Bitrix24 Live. Now you can add it to company calendars, you can add it to work group calendars, this sort of custom process. So if we click onto here, hopefully it's got the description that I put in. Yeah, we have live on the Bitrix24 YouTube channel. So it's booked out for the whole day here. So like I say, you probably want to be using maybe a date time field, so we can actually put a specific date and time in there. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. That was one of the first queries. So you can, instead of having to come to the calendar or having to, if we go back into the lead, you could book a meeting in here using the calendar, but this is more specific for, especially what this person asked for the client. Just got a question, is there some issue going on currently in the video calls? Now, I actually had a client today that was having an issue with the video calling on the on-premise version. I'm not 100% sure if there's any issues going on in the video calls on the cloud version, but I know there was a bug in version, I can pull this up, in version 17.5.5 of the push-pull module. There was a call bug. If you do have the on-premise version, you can, if you install the beta updates, Bitrix have released a bug fix for that. So you mentioned that it's online. If that's the cloud version, Bitrix have they will have an update for it if there is issues in the cloud version. I'm not 100% sure. I know there was an issue on the on-premise version. So with regards to the video calls, for those of you that are fairly new to Bitrix, if you click on chat and calls, what you can do is you can have, again, you'd have to talk to Bitrix with regards to if it's the cloud you're talking about. I'm not aware of that at the moment. But if we go to Catherine, we search for a user that's on the system, and we have the ability to create a video call here with a user that's on the system. You can have group video calls. Bitrix have just increased it, or are about to increase it to, I think it's around 6 users. At the moment it's 4 users. So you can, create a video call by searching for the person. If you want to invite multiple people, so if I want to invite Jack and Andy in, you can still see that we have the ability to have a video call here. If I start to invite more people in to the system, so you can, so Bitrix have increased the amount of people that you can have a video call with. If I click on video call now, it will start up the video call, and every one of these users that is in this group will pop up on the screen with a, close this one down. It will pop up on the screen with the video call notification. Click on accept, and then you can have a group video call. Can we search for work groups and departments from the search tab? You can search for, if you're talking about the chat, you certainly can. So they are, as you can see here, we've got company departments, and you can search for the name of a work group. If you're referring to the group in the back here, say if I typed in, I'm not sure, if I typed in project, this is particular work groups. I'm not sure you can actually search for departments in here. So if we had the accounts department, let's have a look. Yeah, so you can't search for departments up in the top search bar, but you can search for, you can certainly search for work groups. So if we move along a little bit, and I had another question just with regards to the ability to import and export data into Bitrix, with the most common question coming into the CRM. So if you want to import data into the CRM, you can do so in any of the modules. So the most common is companies and contacts. So if you're using a CRM system at the moment and you want to move to Bitrix, it's very, very straightforward to import straight into Bitrix. and also get your data out of Bitrix. So the first thing that what we would usually do is tell you to create all your fields for your particular components. So if you're in companies, firstly of all, obviously Bitrix comes with a range of standard fields. You're going to have fields that are specific to your business, so it's quite important that you create those inside Bitrix. So click into CRM settings, where I just was a moment ago when I created the custom field for a lead. You would just go to form and report settings here, click on custom fields, and you can add custom fields. So that's the first thing that you should do before importing. What we would tend to recommend then is create maybe one company inside Bitrix with all the information in. So you've created your custom fields, and then you would come in here, populate all those fields and any other fields that are standard inside Bitrix. To show custom fields within here, just click on select field and you can show the custom fields that you have created. So you would create a company, and then what we would usually do then is recommend to export it. So you can export a company from Bitrix very easily. If you click on export companies to CSV, it will pop up. And if you don't select either of these checkboxes, what Bitrix will do is it will export these column headers that you have here. So you can see we have everything from recruiter type, which is the custom field, through to the company name. If you want to show more column headers, click on the little gear icon and you can show any fields that are within Bitrix here. At the moment, if I export these, it will only export the column headers with that are highlighted in blue. However, Bitrix have recently introduced a new checkbox that you can say export all company fields. So if you do that, it will export every field that exists inside a company. So the reason why I said to you to create all your custom fields, create an entry into Bitrix for your company, is once you export it, you will have a perfect template then with all the right column headers to then populate and then re-import back into Bitrix. So it's just a handy tip to have. And when you are importing it back into Bitrix, if you click on the gear icon, click on import companies, and then I'll download a quick sample to just show you how Bitrix works. Is if we just click choose file and click on company, I would recommend having the encoding set to auto detect. If we don't have the responsible name field, we can default a responsible person to a company. We can the column separator is going to be a semicolon, and so on and so forth. So you can check these, click on next. What Bitrix allows you to do is allows you to map the column headers that are in your CSV to the fields that exist inside Bitrix. So I've exported a sample, so all mine match. But generally, if you are importing a completely custom, you will see that the fields on the right hand side and the drop downs are empty. So all you need to do, the left hand side is your column header in your CSV, and then these are the fields that exist inside Bitrix. So you can just simply select which field you want to map your data to. Once you've got all the right fields, click on next. And then Bitrix has duplication control. So it may be that if you're importing companies, in this case, the uniqueness control is recognized from company name, which is here, company phone number, and company email address. So those are the three things that determine the uniqueness of a company. Now you can uncheck each one of those if you wish, but there are these four options. We can import all, so it will ignore duplicates, and you can import duplicates into Bitrix. You can replace any that match these three particular field headers. You can merge, and the good thing about the merge option is it may be that in a month or two's time you add a new field into your companies. So you can then just import the company name, the phone number, the email, and this new field. And what it will do is it will only update that particular field inside Bitrix. So it allows you to bulk update based on doing this particular import. And alternatively, you can skip. So if you don't want to have duplicates, you can skip. And as it mentions here, if they do find the duplicates, it will give you a downloadable file that you can see all the duplicates that already exist inside Bitrix. So it's certainly a handy tool to have. One tip that we always recommend is import companies first into Bitrix. And what that will allow you to do, once you move on to the importing your contacts, if you import your contact CSV, then you can have a column that says company name, and that will automatically map that contact to that particular company. So what I'm referring to in there is, you can imagine if you're dealing with a range of different companies, that companies are going to have multiple contacts associated to them. So you might have somebody in the accounts department, you might have somebody in the sales department, and you may have the CEO. There's 3 particular contacts. Now if I click into this particular company, you can see here that in this one we have 1 particular contact associated to Al's Toy Barn. If then I was going to go into Cisco Systems, you can see we have 3 contacts associated to this particular company. So it's quite a good way of doing it. Import your companies first and then import your contacts, and you can map them along. And that's exactly the same as if you are then going to import your deals into Bitrix, because you can associate your deals to companies as well. So if we set into deals, you can see for Cisco Systems the current open deals that we have. So if you're going to associate them to a company, this is how it will look after you've done the particular import. Okay, so I've got a question come through. I have a scenario. We have 5 departments and everyone runs their own digital campaign. They want to pull the leads from various sources, and they don't want other departments to see other departments in a lead. Is that possible? So how you would have to do that, I would have thought, is in Bitrix you would set up your departments. So obviously you've got, if you click on employees, you can see your company structure, and you have your multiple departments here. Now if I go back into the CRM, then what we can do is, if we go into the settings and click into the permissions side of things, I don't know if you've been in here before, but if we click into access permissions, what Bitrix allow you to do is create a role for a group of users. And based on that role is you can restrict the ability to see other people's leads. So I'll come to your department question in a minute, but if we just go into, if you're just going to focus it on leads, what you can do is you can have personal, so you can see your own leads only. We're in the read view, which is the ability to view them. So if we just open up another tab for the leads here, and what this is referring to is that every element inside Bitrix, somebody is responsible for it. So you can see in this lead, for example, custom landscape photo book, Max Smith is the person responsible. Now, if I had my permissions set to personal, then I would only be able to see my own leads. But what Bitrix also allow you to do is set personal and department. And what that means, and I think this is where you would use your particular example is you would have your permissions set to personal and department for the ability to see, and then what that would mean is that your staff would not be able to see any leads in another user's department. So you can see, maybe you don't want the ability to add for other people in other departments, to edit, to delete, and so on and so forth. So you would say, we'll call it departmental leads. And obviously you would set it for all the other sections inside Bitrix as well. It may be that you can see everybody's in every other section. But once you've saved this, and if you click on save, then all you would need to do is assign that role to your group of employees on your system. So if I click into add access permissions, and if you want to apply it to all users, then click on employees. So you can select all employees and then assign it departmental leads. You probably would not have as many permissions as this above. You would probably maybe have an administrator and maybe just a sales team. And once that role is applied to that group of users, then you can they will adhere to that particular role, so they won't be able to see any other lead if another user is in another department. So that's probably how you would have to do it, because they don't want other departments to see other departments, and that is primarily, you'll be basing it on that departmental role. So I think once you've got that set up, once the user goes to the leads itself, they will see only their departmental leads, and then they can do what they want. They can create a filtered list based on the data from their departmental leads. So hopefully that answers the question. Is it possible to create submenus in the header for sites in Bitrix? It's a good question. I've not tried that, in all honesty. So let's go into our cake shop and click into, so click into view pages, and we'll click into here to view it. And now let's take a look at the navigation. The only thing I can think of, I thought it doesn't look like you can. I thought it may be possible if, pretty much like the WordPress ones do, if you were to drag and place it, and it then becomes a subset of that particular menu item. So it doesn't at the moment look like you can. Yeah, I think at the moment it doesn't look like you can. Let's have a look. No, it doesn't look like you can. It's very, the Bitrix sites is very much in an early stage of its development, so I'm sure by all means that will come. So yeah. So I just put our contact details on the screen again, just to see if any more questions come through. I do have a couple more questions that came through in the week. So yeah, just to point out again, we are Intraface. We're gold partners of Bitrix, and we deal with clients both on the cloud version of Bitrix and on the on-premise version of Bitrix. So we can help you set up Bitrix, we can help you customize Bitrix, and we can, if you're new to Bitrix and you want a demonstration, if you're interested in purchasing Bitrix, you can have a call with one of our sales engineers, and they can show you online anything pretty much that you want to see, and if it will be a fit for your business. So we're located in the US, in the UK, and in the UAE. So our contact details are there, and if you want to email sales@Intraface, one of the team will pick up your inquiry. So that's just our contact details. So another question is coming, can a chat message from Bitrix chat app sent to a specific email address? So I'm not sure it can be sent to a specific email address. I mean, the only thing you would be able to do would be for a specific chat to be to go to a specific user. That's based on your queuing settings. And I suppose if you had a notification turned on for chat messages and you weren't logged into Bitrix, then it would email that particular user that a chat has come in. So for those of you that again are not sure what we're talking about, is that Bitrix has the ability to have a live chat widget on your website. So you can see here, if you click into the open channels and click into live chat, then you can see at the moment we have it connected. And what I can do is if I click into the live chat and configure the settings, then you can see here, if we just open up that, sometimes our screen is a little bit, but you can see on here you can specify a queue of people, and I suppose you can't have it go to, you can't specify it go to a specific email address. You would have to have it go to a specific user, and so maybe if you only had it as one user, it may work. But how Bitrix chat works is if I go to our intraface.co.uk, just on our dummy site here, if I click on live chat, then I'm logged into the demo account on our site, so you won't be able to chat to anybody. But you can see the chat widget pops up. If I start chatting, then it's going to be spread. At the moment, it's going to go to everybody in this chat queue list. Now, once you have it configured, then all you need to do is go to website widget. And on here, if you create a new widget, you will get something that looks pretty similar to this. If we click on edit, and then you can specify on here the live chat, and you can specify what corner of your website it goes in. And all you need to do is copy the widget code and place it into the footer of your system, and it will appear then in our case, the bottom left-hand corner. So this is for a different, we've got this chat widget on a different site of ours. So once a live chat comes through, you'll notice that in the top right-hand corner, we have an open channel chat widget. So if you click onto that, then you'll be able to see all the incoming open channel chats that have come from your website. So you wouldn't have to leave Bitrix. Your chat will come through like this, and then you can have a one-to-one conversation. And based on your chat configurations, you can then specify whether you want to have the chats create a new lead in your system, and then you can have automation rules based on, so let's say the source has come from live chat A. So that's probably maybe what you could do, going back to your question, Shivam, is that kind of chat message from Bitrix chat app sent to a specific email address. What maybe you could do is have an automation rule once it creates a lead. So if we go back into the CRM here, then we click on automation rules, and in here maybe we could say email a specific user, and it will have a condition in here that said if the source of this particular lead, so let's go to source, is equal to, so we should have a live chat somewhere in here, unless we renamed it. think we may have renamed it if I can't see it on there. You should have a live chat source. So let's just say our website inquiry is our live chat source. You click on there, and then that would then email the specific content of that chat. Just trying to think if you could pull the chat content in. That may be the only issue. I'd have to have a look into that, see if you could get the content of the chat into the email. And then second to that, if you didn't want to keep the lead, all you would need to do is you would need to edit the document. If we said edit document, and then you would click on for it and you would delete the CRM record and have the same condition. So it's source equal live chat. So the chat will come in, create a lead, send an email out. It's just about getting that chat content in the email. That's what we need to have a look at. And then straight after that email sent, delete the lead if it's come from live chat. So that may be an option if you didn't want to keep the lead inside the system. So it's just getting that content into the email. I know I spoke with you, Shivan, before, just with regards to getting email content into tasks and things like that from the CRM. So it's a similar scenario. But yeah, we'd have to have a look and see if that's possible. So we've not had any other questions come through on YouTube. Do please send them across if you've got them. We've got 20 minutes. I've got a couple of questions, so please do get them across if you have them. I can show you whether it's on the cloud version or we have the on-premise version here as well to test and show you. But if I go into, so we had a question come through with regards to creating documents inside Bitrix. So again, I have covered this previously, but one of our clients this morning just was a little bit confused about some of the fields, the available fields that you can create, that you can use inside your document template. So for those of you that are fairly don't know about document creation inside Bitrix, it has a great document creation tool. So if I go into an invoice, for an example, you'll be able to see this drop down here that's called document. And if I click on add new template here, first of all, you can import some samples, and to do so, you just load templates from the library. In our case, it would be the UK. And this will import quote, invoice, packing sheet, and order confirmation. And what you would then do, what I would usually recommend to do, is then download that particular template as an example. If I open that up just to show you what that'll look like. So the templates are built using Microsoft Word, a docx file, so it's really simple to use. And if I click on here, click off. So you can really style them up, brand them up, and show what you want in this document. So this example is an invoice. So you would brand it up to look exactly like your branding for your company. And you can see here that we have quite a different range of tagged fields, should we call them. Now if I just minimize this and go into the little cog icon at the top here, then I'll be able to show you the fields at the top. And we're currently in an invoice, and what we can do is select any field that exists within the invoice module itself. So you can see here we've got the ID, we've got the total amount, and the invoice and the account number, and any, so the invoice date is obviously a youthful one, so if we copy that one. And any custom fields that you create as well will show in this particular list. But what the good thing about this particular tool is that if you were to associate this particular invoice with a company and or a contact, you can actually pull information from that entity as well. So if we go into, for example, if you associate a contact to the invoice, you can see here that we can pull in the contact's first name, the contact's last name. It may be that you want to pull in the email address and so on and so forth. So that's contacts. And then if we scroll through some of these, I think if we go to, it's not my company, it may be in the further one. So I think if we, this was where the confusion with our client came. They were using the my company, and that's referring to the Bitrix details for your company that you've set up. So you would just need to go to, I think it's company in here. So there is a company a bit further down. I won't click all the way through, but there is a company option at the start, and you can pull in any field from the companies. Now, to get one of these fields, just click on copy, go back to your Word document, and then simply you can make your own name. So invoice date, we will, instead of having the creation date, we will actually have the invoice date that we specified on our invoice. So date bill, and then you would obviously style it up to be whatever font and method that you can, yeah, any font and method that you want. So I've got a tip: if you use an existing contact, you have to add text boxes in the blanks and put the field code in the box. Zillow Paying, get it to line up. Yeah, so yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, so I think the difficult part with the templates that I found personally is getting the address to correctly format onto each individual line. So it depending on what address field. Bitrix have brought in a custom field, Google Maps, so you can have a custom field, Google Maps, type in the address, and it will have a little widget in there, and you can pull in the address from that, but it's splitting the lines. But yeah, I'd recommend, it's going to be trial and error. Recommend having a play around with these documents. And once you've saved it, it's just a simple case of uploading it back up into Bitrix. So if I was to upload this into here, you will then be able to see, and this is quite the important element of it, is binding it to company, contact, and in this case, an invoice, and you can bind it to the deals. And what that means is it will give you the ability to pull the data, what we've just been looking at, into this particular invoice. And then, yeah, and then you can go from there. If this is an invoice, use the invoice auto numbering template on there. Give it a name, and then you'll be able to, once you've saved it and uploaded it, you'll then find it within here. So it's not just invoices that you can create the templates for. You can obviously create things such as proposal documents. You can create contracts for customers. You can, whatever you can think of, it's pretty much, if I go into a company here and click into a company, and then the document tab is up here. So you can still, as long as you've created that template inside Bitrix to use the company entity, then you can pull the fields from that company into that document and it will generate. Once you've generated it, click on it. This is an invoice, so it won't be pretty relevant to what I'm generating it on now, but just gives you a preview and the ability to download as a PDF. Yeah, the ability to able to send out for an e-sign. Yeah, I agree. I think if you could, I think that would be really good, and I think it will come. In all honesty, the ability to sign documents, send it back. We've created for a couple of clients the ability to send a dynamic email link out to a customer, and on the on-premise we've created they click on that dynamic link, it shows them the invoice or quotation online, and we have a button that says accept quote, decline quote. If you clicked on decline, pops up with the comments why they've declined it. And then it comes back into Bitrix, gives the person a notification, and actually moves the status of the quotation to declined. Now, it's a little bit custom. If it's something that you're interested in, please do get in touch with us. But I do agree that, and I think it will go that way with getting these documents to be linked to digital signatures, certainly. Is there an Outlook contact synced with Bitrix contacts possible? So I've not really dealt with Outlook in too much essence, but you can import Outlook CSV, and you can export to Outlook. So you could import an Outlook CSV. I'm not sure what an Outlook CSV looks like, in all honesty, but yeah, that's the only area I do believe, unless you go into the new webmail. And if we check in, we've connected an Outlook email in here. Then let's have a look. Configure the folders for synchronization and create contacts using vCard. There's not such as a contact sync, so probably something that we need to look at. Just while I'm in here as well, this is a common and again a fairly evolving piece of kit inside Bitrix, is the ability to connect your email account to Bitrix, and now you can see an interface in front of you that you can view all your inbound emails from. So we've connected a demo account in Bitrix. Click on mailbox settings. You can connect things like Gmail, Outlook. If you don't have an email provider, you can connect IMAP settings. So that allows you to connect a lot of different types of email. And you can specify the folders that you want to sync. And then based on a number of different things, you can link it to the CRM. So the purpose of linking your email integration to the CRM is that every inbound email that you receive into Bitrix will take a look at the contact and company email address, and if they exist in the CRM, it will take a copy of that email and put it into that company and contacts activity stream. Alternatively, if you send an email out, you don't have to send it out of Bitrix. You can send it out of your email client. So if you use Outlook, Bitrix will check your outbound mail, and if you're sending it to a contact or a company again that exists inside Bitrix, it will take a copy of that and put it on that contacts activity stream. And this is another area alongside the documents that is constantly evolving, as you can have it create leads from all incoming email addresses. However, probably would say that we don't necessarily would always have that checked. What you can do is you can manually, so every email that you get in, so if we've got this particular email here, I can save to the CRM. So what that will do is it will generate a new lead automatically in the CRM. But what that allows you to do is it allows you to pick and choose which emails in your mailbox that come through. It may be not all of them are going to be inquiries for products or services that you sell, but you can click on and pick and choose and save to CRM. Alternatively, you can create tasks. So if I was to create a task here, it will take a copy of the email, put it into the task. You can then assign it to a responsible person in here. So if Joe Smith was responsible for this particular kind of task, then, and you can assign it to then a work group inside Bitrix. So it's definitely evolving, and it's something that is new. You can see here that at the moment we've got discuss in activity stream, discuss in chat, and create event grayed out. They will be coming soon into Bitrix, so you'll be able to create events really good. Somebody emails you with regards to a possible meeting, then you can then create a calendar event, invite the relevant people within the business to that calendar event, and it will go into your calendar. So it's really good, and it's a really powerful tool. You can obviously email straight out of Bitrix as well, so if I wanted to reply to this, you can click in and then just click on the reply here and then email straight out. So for those of you that don't use Outlook or Gmail or a particular email client, having everything inside Bitrix is going to be really good for you. So hopefully that's a little bit of an explanation on the email itself. So I've not got any more questions that have come in. I think we've only got a few minutes left. If you do have a question, just put it in the box, and I'm more than happy to help. Like I say, I've got a couple of minutes left on here. So just to point out again, we are gold partners of Bitrix, and we're here every Thursday at 10 AM Eastern Time. So again, if you've got any questions throughout the week, it's basically an hour of free support for you. If you're struggling with any aspect of Bitrix, I can help you out. I'm usually accompanied by Damien, but he's not here today. So there's usually a couple of us that can show you live on the screen. And again, if you're thinking about using Bitrix and you're unsure whether it's suited for your business, please do get in touch with us. We can show you, and we're not going to force feed you Bitrix if you don't think it's right for your business. It's not right for everybody, but it does contain a whole range of different features and different modules. So it's usually some aspect of Bitrix will suit your business needs. So just to point out, it's live at intraface.com, and we can answer throughout the week and answer next week as well. So I've got no more questions that have come through. Like I said, I've got a couple of minutes, but if nothing's come through, I'll leave our contact details on the screen for the 10-15 seconds. But thank you very much for your time. If you do subscribe to the Bitrix24 channel just below this video, you will get notified every time live comes on via email. So you can just click on the link in your email and come and watch online. But thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you next Thursday at 10 AM Eastern Time. There's just one other thing I missed out, is that we do webinars as well, which are again live on Monday at 11 AM Eastern, and we focused on particular modules inside Bitrix, so things like the CRM, things such as telephony, Bitrix24 sites, business processes, and so on. So go to intraface.com/webinars and you can register for the webinar on there. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.